Okay, welcome back. Today I'll be making a bit of a different video. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be making a drill type beat, except it's a Kanye beat. If you watched or have heard the songs from the second Donda live stream, you'll know this beat. It's a drill beat featuring Playboi Carti and 5 Foreign. Never thought I'd say that, but I really dig this beat. There's two sections. So there's a trap section, which is like here to here, I think, and that's in 133 BPM, and then it goes to 138, I think. So I'm not sure how I'm going to structure it out, because the main focus is going to be the drill part. So I might have a little trap section, or maybe not even. We'll see. I'll try and get those fills and tempo automation going, but mainly I've got this out here just so I can line up the melody sort of sound right, and then I think the rest of it should be fine. I've got fills and stuff I can use, and trap drums will be easy, drill drums will be pretty easy, and we'll see where we can go from there. Okay, so I'm recording this after I've just cooked up the beat, and I realized I sort of didn't explain what the point of this video is. This is more a video on how to make a beat in the style of Off the Grid if you wanted to do that. So this is sort of teaching you how I would approach making that sort of beat, pretty much. So I go through like the melody, how I find those notes that I want to use, and how I match that up to a bass line, and then how I translate that to the 808 and what sort of sounds I make with the 808. Then I move on to the drums, what sort of kicks and patterns I use, how sort of detailed and complex these things get, and then the transitions between these two sections, the sort of tempo change that goes on, the gating effect. Like, it's very specific to Off the Grid, but the same sort of rules that I'm using to figure out how I make a beat, or how I make a beat in the style of an already existing track, can be applied to any other track in the world. So that's really what I'm trying to get you to get out of this video. How I go about making a beat in the style of an already existing track. So with that being said, I'll let you get back into the video. The first step is going to be the 133 BPM section, because the melody is actually the same for both sections. The only thing that differs is the sound used. So the pattern's the same, but the sound used is a bit different. I think the first trap section, what I can do is I can grab a string sound, pitch it pretty high up, and then add a low pass filter. I think that should get me sorted for that. And then the drill section is a vocal sound I can find somewhere in Omnisphere probably. So I'm just going to line it up with the grid and try and copy this melody sound section and get it in key, all that good stuff. It's not going to be a remake, it'll be a type beat, so it'll be similar, but it won't be the same. Okay, so I think I've got the main pattern down. It's a pretty simple one, so it's normal note, and then 2 down into another normal note, and then 1. Then that pretty much just repeats that whole thing. Again, just in different spots. And then this bass line, down, up, down 1, and then up again. Pretty simple, I'll just play through that for you. I think that's right. Might not be. Might be out of key. I'll probably mess around with this a little bit further when I get into actually using the right sounds. But for now, I think I'll run with this. I think I've definitely got the rhythm right. Just some of the keys are a bit off. What I'm going to do now is look for a nice sound that'll try and mimic the sound used in the actual beat. So it's going to be a string sound. I can hear that already. And I think what I'm going to do, I might pitch it up again, go up 1 octave like that, and I think it's going to be a string sound with a low pass filter, so I'll show you what that'll look like. Just get an EQ, and pretty much just like that. So that should be fine. I'll mess around with the sound, see what I can get to sound pretty accurate. Okay, so I've got this sound. I'll just play it. And then it goes an octave higher. It's just a sound in expand 2, soft form the strings 1. Got a few EQs on it. Limiter to booster and then a clipper. It's not right. I know it's not right. Not too stressed about it. These root notes aren't right. Again, I can hear that. I moved this up from a D because that D was definitely wrong. But this G is also wrong. This is wrong. But I really like the tension that brings. So I might try and do something here. These two. Or yeah. We'll see. I definitely want to keep these two how they are. I like that. But we'll see what I can do from there. Anyway, it's time to find a bass, so I'll look in Mini V3, Arturia's plugin. It's just a mini Moog. Mike Dean loves mini Moogs, so we'll see what I can get done with this. Okay, I'm happy enough with this. Definitely not perfect, but it would do. The next thing is going to be trying to find this drum pattern, figure that out real quick, and then figure out this trap 808 pattern. And then I'll get into the drill section. Okay, I'm lining up a spins with the 808. It seems good enough. It's not perfect, but actually, yeah, it's matching really well. So I think it probably is a spins. So yeah, if you ever want to know what 808 is in a track, just line it up. But yeah, it looks like it will be a spins that I'll go with. So I'll chuck that in there. I'll get that rhythm in a second. But I'm going to try and match up, I guess, the other sounds. They're a bit tougher, but we'll see. Okay, the Cody Reddit kit coming through a bit clutch for us. Yeah, the 808, just make sure all that's in order. And now I'll try and just copy this bounce. Of course, going to make it unique to myself because it's not a remake. But I'll try and get the same sort of bounce we've got going here. So I think I've got the drums sounding okay. Haven't chucked in the 808 yet, that's the last thing, but I think I've got the right rhythm. The hats might be a bit off. This clap's a bit weird, it's there and there. Next step will be laying down an 808 pattern, so I'll get onto that. Okay, so I've got this. It's not right. There's a lot of cuts here. The 808's gone a bit crazy in the actual track. It gets way crazier in the drill section. We'll see what happens there. Again, not a remake, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But I will actually open this up in Edison and try and find the root notes because I know I'm out. I know it's not on the... Well, I know it's not where I want it to be, pretty much. So, I'm going to go to take pitch regions and try and fix these up. Okay, you do not know the smile that's on my face right now. So I got the root notes right, the rhythm was right, it's cut up correctly. And if you've ever remade a beat, you know the exact feeling when you find the correct 808, so it lines up, and you put it in the right key. Oh my lord, it's crazy. I'd love a visual representation of the waveforms lining up pretty nice, but it causes this sort of phasing effect, makes it way louder, and it's pretty much just doubling the volume, but it's such a good feeling. When you've had it out of key, you're pretty close, but then you nail it on the head. Perfection. So I'll just play what I've got so far. I actually also moved these root notes around in the string section and the bass section, so they're sounding a lot better now. I'll just play what this is like so far. Of course, not a finished product, but it's what I've got so far. Very happy with that. These strings need a lot of work. The drums, not too much work needed really. I think the trap drums pretty much finished. Now, I'm gonna ignore these strings for a second. I don't like how they sound, but there's probably some effects I can use to clean that up later. I'm really excited actually for the drill section. So what I'm gonna do, copy that, make unique. So pattern 4 will be my drill whatevers. Drill strings, it'll be vocals. And then all these drums. I'm just gonna have to make a whole new drum thing. And I'm gonna have to automate the tempo. So I'll copy value, create automation clip, perfect, paste value, and then I'll find where the drill section is, move the tempo up to 138, copy value and then paste value, and then like make a close automation sort of thing. It's fine. The vocals shouldn't be too hard to find, plenty of sounds in Omnisphere, and then the drums will be a bit tough to follow, but we'll get there. Okay, I'm going to ignore those strings for a second as well. I think I'll start with the drums just to get a nice groove for it. Okay, so I think I figured out the 808 pattern. So that's 16, I don't know. Is it 16 or 8? Can't be bothered thinking. Wait, no, it's over there. Gotta be 16, right? That looks huge. Yeah, 16 bar 808 pattern. Yep, that's fun. That's normal. Thanks, Kanye. Anyway, that's done now. That's dealt with. I'll actually just play the 808 pattern by itself. Look how huge that is. I'll go over it a little bit, but I can't go through all of it, I don't think. Okay, so pretty attacking 808s to start off with. Do, do, do. Nice. Then it's sort of like in the background here, these are building up. So it's like pause notes, and then it's got a volume ramp, couple slides down, pretty basic stuff so far. Then we get into this big slide pattern, and it goes up, down, 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 down. To this, and it actually holds at that C6 to this G5, G sharp 5. Then longer slide notes here, they hold for a bit longer. That's pretty nice. Down to the G. Then again, that same sort of pattern we saw earlier. It's over there, just with a few extra. And then this sort of pause thing. Believe it or not, it doesn't repeat. It's completely different. So again, the C here, not attacking too hard though, just holding for a little bit until that snare cuts it off. Then some more slides down, up, then down again. Then we've got a nice little G there to bridge this monstrosity right here. We've got this slide coming up here, and then down to that G sharp here. So that slide up to the C7, and then down to the G sharp into the actual G sharp note, holding for a very long time. That's nice. Then we've got to slide up an octave up to the C, then to the G sharp, and then down again to the lower octave G sharp into a G, holding again. So yeah, those G sharps and Gs over there you can see highlighted. Hold for a bit, that's nice, gives it a bit of a break for the rappers to really go in. And then to bring it all back, again that same sort of shape we saw earlier, like over here, that is going down into the D and then sliding down into the D again, ready to bring it close to the C so we can go again. That is the thought process, the idea behind the 808 pattern. Pretty full on. So if you've seen this pattern and you know how 808 slides work, you've been wanting to hear this for as long as I've been talking about it. I'll let you hear it now. pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to look for the vocal sound, not the exact one, because it's probably a choir or sample or something, but a vocal sound that sounds similar enough to the one in the actual track. So I've got this nice female choir R's, I think. I'll check the preset name. It is Women O's. Right. It's not exact, it's not correct, but it's actually pretty close. Like, it's surprisingly close. Two, no effects there. I think with a bit of RC20 maybe I can fix this up. I think it's a bit too wide currently, so I'll take down some stereo separation there, or some width, maybe 50%. Add a bit of distortion to that. And then maybe a bit of digital. I'll play this by ear, bit of EQ cutting as well. But we'll see what we can get out of this, see how accurate I can make it. But I'm very happy with that so far. I'll actually just play this. I'll take this RC20 off and I'll play the raw sound I've got now. Very happy with that. Now I'll play with that a little bit more to get it sounding as accurate as possible. Okay, very, very excited about this. So I've placed this, so the trap beat and then the trap drums next to the drill section. It's not perfect. It's not even close to finished, to be honest. But I can hear it. I can hear it coming together. Very, very excited about that. Next thing I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to... I'll make a fill if I have to. But I'm going to try and find some drum fills so that I can get that transition going between those drum fills, because I love that fill sound. Okay, so what I've done, I didn't find a fill I was happy with, so as you can see, I've made my own. Not too great, but I'm going to render that out, so just that section as like its own thing, and then add some RC20, all those sort of effects, and see what I can get done there. Okay, so rendered it out twice actually, you can see there it's already been rendered out, but I added some reverb, RC20, EQ, soft clipper, basic stuff. Next thing to do is actually going to be arranging this in the order that it'll be presented in, I guess. Well, getting the arrangement right pretty much. Okay, so the arrangement's going pretty well actually. I forgot to add a kick earlier, which I spent just then like a good while trying to sort out. So you may have noticed there's pattern 21, pattern 22, pattern 20, pattern 22, and then back to pattern 21. So those just copy over. But it's pretty simple, I guess. It's just following like where you want it to hit at that certain section in accordance to the 808, of course. Nothing too special to talk about there. I'm just trying to follow like the main arrangement style that's going on in the actual beat. So I've got the bass and the melody, and then that bass cuts out and the 808 comes in, and the drums, and then the open hat comes in after that, and then this 808 rings out. So I made a new pattern just for one note of the 808, the first note of the normal pattern, and then the fill comes in, then this impact and hi-hat and stuff, and 808. So pretty similar arrangement all around. The next thing I'm going to do will be actually work on this original trap melody and bass. Like I said, it's not fully focused on the trap aspect, but I'm sure there'd be some people that click on this video wanting to know how to make the trap aspect of it. So I think it's only fair that I do focus on that aspect as well, even though the drill part is objectively more interesting. Okay, overall very happy with what I've done. I fixed up the melody and bass. What I did with this melody, added a bit of reverb and boosted it up a little bit with that gain. And then on the bass, bit of cymatics Diablo Light. Bit of a life hack, doesn't only work on kicks, works very well on basses. So a bit of a soft clip, bit of punch, turned up the input and output, added an EQ. There's a weird clicking sound over here, so just got rid of that. Probably a better way to get rid of it, but that works. And a soft clipper. So that's what this is sounding like. But the rest of it didn't change too much up, I don't think. Just a bit of mixing, that sort of stuff. Bit of leveling or whatever. I did add, or I guess add, I sort of changed up this section here. Last thing I'm going to do before I'm ready for a final mix, I think, is going to be just fixing up these kicks and 808s, getting those levels right, and then I guess getting the other levels right, getting the kick and 808 sounding good together. So that might be sidechaining, bit of leveling, that sort of stuff. Okay, I think this beat could be done. So I've spent a lot of time on this beat actually. I listened through the track numerous times. I'm pretty well versed with the song. I think there's not too much I missed. I even added this little stutter effect. I think it's here. Yeah, you can see it here. So it sort of like cuts out. I'll just play this part of the track where you can sort of hear it happening. So just look for this section. You can hear it like cut out. It's a gated effect. And I heard that, a couple of days ago when I was first listening, well, one of the first listens to the track, and I was like, wow, how do they get that? Really stumped me for a bit until I actually looked at the waveforms and realized it's just a pretty basic gated effect. So I loaded up a D-Blue glitch, chucked a gator at the end there on a speed of 4, default speed, and got that same effect here. Pretty happy with that. I think it's really hard because of the impact that starts it off, like starts off the drums. However, just as a quick recap, I'll actually go over everything I did in case I missed something or I was just doing something without thinking about it. I'll start from top left and I guess go bottom right. I added this melody pretty much just like a basic sort of melody and the root notes below it. I made these a bit quieter, so it doesn't impact the overall sound too much. For the effects on that, a lot of EQ just to sort of cut out some harsh frequencies, and then add a low pass filter. Again, upping that gain, taking that gain down, bit of reverb, and then boosting the low mids, and then another gain. So you can see I'm really focusing on the low mid sort of section. And then I copied that and brought it down 1 octave just for a bit of up, sorry. So that's down and that's up. So starting off with a low octave, bringing it up, and then going back to that low octave there just to vary it up a bit so you can hear that change is about to come. With this bass, just using the notes that we already had in that string sort of section, bit flipped and stuff. Pretty much what I was trying to do here, create a nice little rolling bass so we can get an easy transition into the 808 that would also help build a bit of tension. So this is conflicting, this pattern, so it's like a U. You can see it's going up, then down, then up. This is actually going down, so down, up, and then up again. Bit of a weird, so up, down, up. Bit of a weird pattern there, but this tries to conflict it, add a bit of conflict, add a bit of tension. That's what we like to see. got a nice transition here into the 808 kick, clap, hi-hats, and this open hat just for like a little crash sort of effect. So this 808, a lot of cuts here, just trying to establish a nice groove. Not too many cuts, it just looks like a lot because we're staying on that C for a whole 4 bars, then coming up to that G sharp, then to that G, and then finally down to that D, with a couple stutters here, volume ramps, that's how it is. And then also some reversed 808s by making a dead note and then a full volume slide up. Kicks are just going on the important like areas, nothing too special, and then this like triplet area where the stutter is. Then this clap, bit of a weird one actually. So we've got the normal ones, and then we've also got a couple that are hitting at the same time as some of the kicks, but their volume is a bit down. Then the hi-hat, basic 2-step, nothing to talk about there, and then an open hat crash. Then we got that same sort of thing, except this open hat is sort of like adding a bit of bounce to the track, so I'll just actually play those drums. Just gets your head nodding. Really nice effect. I actually will use that in a couple more tracks after I've heard it here. But that's almost it for the first trap section. We got a nice transition into this one hit of the 808, and that just rings out into this drum fill. Now I don't have the original things, but what I used was just a bunch of like old drum breaks. I think there's a kit on Reddit that I got it off. Pretty helpful. Just use like normal old sounding tracks and try and find like drum breaks or drum fills and just pretty much steal that, line it up to the grid as shown, and then add some RC20 or isotope vinyl on top of that to give it a bit of a crunchy sound. Then I'm cutting out those. With that tail actually fills up that space, with the reverb tail fills up that space with a riser and a transition to add a bit of tension. And then we've got the impact and hi-hat. This delayed hi-hat's very nice. If you can get one of these, please do. As you can see, it's actually 2-in-1. You can see that little one there. You can do the same effect with a short delay, in like fruity delay or whatever. Very easy effect to come across. Then this 808 here. I've gone over this 808, I'm not going to go over it again, but pretty much a lot of slide notes, a lot of stutters, so keep it like short, and keep it off the snares / claps in certain areas. Then just got a kick sidechain to that 808, going on the important parts firstly, and then changing up to even more important parts only, and then changing up again with a bit more variety, then back to that even more important parts, and then that repeats. So 3 different patterns to make one big kick pattern. This impact, pretty nice. You got the stock standard first one, but then you've also got this volume ramping up. So that last one into that first one has a bit of a different like space between the notes. Very nice effect. So you got the do, 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 do. It's probably been well documented what that effect is, but it's just like building up and then releasing into, again, kicks and crashes and whatever. Delay hi-hat is just the basic hi-hat pattern for drill. Triplet flow, I guess. Dior snare, basic drill position. Then this clap just before the snare, and then a double just before the snare again. This glitch automation, actually hang on, tempo automation is just what you do. You go here, anywhere, and move the tempo however you want, then right click, copy value, then create an automation, make a new point, paste value, and then you do that to a different one. Yeah, it's not too tough. You should be able to figure it out, but I'm sure there's plenty of tutorials. I've actually probably already got a tutorial about it. If I don't, there will be one out like tomorrow, because I can't believe I haven't thought of doing that before. Back to this deep loop glitch automation, it's just a gated effect. You can get that in Shaperbox, Gross Beat, but I just use deep loop glitch because it's free and easy, and the speed set to 4, probably like a quarter beat or something, quarter bar, I don't know. And then finally, these drums just repeat, not doing anything special really with those drums. And the most interesting part from here on out is just this pattern 21 coming out, which is like the vocal sort of sound. Didn't actually go over that, just the vocal sound in Omnisphere with a bit of reverb probably. Yeah, RC20, bit of distortion, noise, digital, and taking that width down to sound like this. Gotten rid of those root notes, and yeah, just the same as the strings earlier. But yeah, that just comes out, and then I've got a rise so that the main instrument there is actually just the 808. That's about it. This was actually really good probably for my production in future. I learned a lot really making this, but it took ages, and this will be so annoying to edit, but we'll see. I enjoyed making this. I hope you enjoy listening to it, learning from what I've learnt, and I'm actually expecting this to get quite a few views because this will be the first on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment please to help out the algorithm if you enjoyed this sort of content. Thank you for watching. Here's a full beat. Catch you later.